Hello, I'm Alessandro from Paraguay Pathways, and today we'll answer the question of how to convert your temporary residency into permanent residency. Currently, I would say that most requests for residency in Paraguay are indeed for temporary residency, and so I think it's important to know what happens after 2 years when your residency card is about to expire. Now, if you're not sure about the difference between temporary and permanent residency, I suggest you watch our previous video in which we explain all the details and all the differences between these two types of residency in Paraguay. When is the right time to make the conversion? This is important. According to Law 6984 of 2022, which reformed all residency procedures here in Paraguay, you must apply for a change of residency type within 90 days before your temporary residency expires. Now, since temporary residency is valid for 24 months, you should apply for permanent residency between the 21st and the 24th month. And it's crucial not to let your temporary residency expire, not even by a single day, otherwise you would have to start the process all over again if you want to keep your residency. You have to do it again. Let's start with the documents now you need before applying. Now, I'm sure you're gonna like the fact that contrary to when you've obtained temporary residency, there is no need to bring any apostilled birth certificate nor any apostilled background check from your country of citizenship. What you will need is just your passport, Paraguayan ID card, Paraguayan residency card, background check for foreigner, which is issued by the IT department of the police in Paraguay, good conduct certificate issued by the Department of Identifications of the Police, criminal record certificate issued by the Department of Justice, life and residency certificate, which you know because it's also required for temporary residency, and then we have the Interpol certificate issued by the Interpol Station here in Asunción, and finally we have the document proving the applicant's financial solvency. The last document often raises the most questions. It's actually quite simple to prove your financial solvency since there's no specific income or asset level required. Acceptable proof of financial solvencies as of today are 8, and they include professional certificate or university degree with apostille, which is the most common option as it requires very minimal effort. Then we have evidence of economic activity in Paraguay, which can be self-employment, employment, or business ownership. It's important to remember that the employer, the company-owned, or the self-employed activity has to be based in Paraguay. So even if you own a multinational corporation that's not based in Paraguay, that will not qualify you for this process. Then we have enrollment in a Paraguayan university, working as a priest, clergyman, or other religious professional, holding shares in a Paraguayan company. It does not matter if you own millions of dollars, again, in stocks of companies that do not have a Paraguayan RUC. It has to be a Paraguayan company. And finally, being retired. In this case, you would just need to show the supporting documents of the status, but without a minimum requirement in terms of how much money you should be receiving. There is an exception to all of this. You can show a marriage certificate with someone who meets any of the above criteria. Remember, if you present a document from abroad, such as a university degree or the marriage certificate, it must be apostilled in the country of origin, and it should also be translated in Spanish. So either in the country of origin, but if you translate it there, you would also need the translation to be apostilled on its own. Or translated directly by a sworn translator here in Paraguay as we operate. In some cases, you may need an additional document, especially if there has been changes in your civil status. So if in these 2 years of temporary residence you have changed your names, you've married, you've divorced, or you have changed the passport that you use, then in this case you will just need to provide this documentation to support the changes that have occurred in your life. Nothing more, nothing less. Alright, so once you've gathered all the necessary documents, both from your country of origin and here, the next step is to visit a notary to make notarized copies of all your documents. With all notarized copies in your hand, you can then go to the Department of Migrations and submit everything to request your new residency card. After you obtain the new residency card, the permanent one, valid for 10 years, you can also apply for the new ID card. The new ID card can be obtained from the Department of Identifications of the Paraguayan Police by presenting the required documentation along with your new residency card. Actually, this is a common question, and there are 3 reasons why permanent residency can be denied. The first and definitely the most common one is documentation issues. Errors in the documentation are definitely the most common rejection cause. Many people overlook the details or make mistakes that they're unaware of until they arrive in Paraguay. So this is one of many areas of the process in which professional assistance is really of great help. Second is criminal records in Paraguay. This specifically refers to your criminal record in Paraguay, not in your country of origin. If there's a minor incident, you can pay your way out, otherwise it can be rejected. And then finally we have the unjustified absence of 12 consecutive months without a justification. As mentioned in our previous video, a temporary resident must visit Paraguay at least once every 12 months. So if you can't make this visit, you must justify your absence with the Department of Migration before the period ends, not when it's too late. So basically just avoid any sort of mistakes with preparing your documents. Of course, do not commit any sort of crime, and make sure that you don't stay away from the country too long. I hope this video helped you understand how you convert your temporary to permanent residency in Paraguay. And if you have any questions or need assistance from our team for your residency process, you can find our contacts in the description below or on paraguaypathways.com/contacts. We always respond to inquiries within 24 hours. From Asuncion for today is everything, and as always, see you in Paraguay.